Hey guys, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about installing Ubuntu 18.04 LTS onto VirtualBox 6.0.1 on Windows 10. It's a lot of numbers, but we're going to get right down into it. So if you don't already have VirtualBox installed, you're going to want to go to virtualbox.org and click on this big green button, download VirtualBox, and then under here where it says platform packages, you're going to click on Windows hosts, and it should just start downloading right away. Yes, it does. I already have it installed. So you're going to click on that, follow the prompts, and install the defaults, and it should be pretty straightforward and easy. So next we're going to jump over to ubuntu.com, go to the download section, a little thing should pop down, and we're going to click on 1804 LTS in Ubuntu desktop. So it should start right away. It's a pretty decent sized file, almost 2 gigs, so it's going to take quite a bit of time. So just bear with it and pause and come back when you are ready. Alright, once it's finished downloading, you should have it right here. We're going to jump into VirtualBox, and we are going to create a new machine. Should pop up into guided mode for you, but we're going to click over in expert mode because of course we're experts, right? And we're going to type in Ubuntu 18 tutorial. Alright, so you can stick it wherever you want on your hard drive. It's going to be a Linux box, and it's going to be Ubuntu 64-bit. And just skip everything for now. Depending upon what you're going to be doing, you might want more space or less space, and depends on how much space you have on your hard drive. So right now I don't have 2 terabytes, so this is obviously, this slider is not a mimic of what space you have. So you're going to want to take note of how much space you have, how much free space that you have to give. So if you go to this PC, you can see I only have 32 gig free of 118. So I can't make this more than 32 gig. So now the other thing too about this VirtualBox dynamically allocated disk image is that it grows when you put more stuff in it. So it's not going to be 32 gig or 29.97 gig straight out of the gate here. As you use it, it'll fill up and it will stop at 29.97. So it might appear to you that you still have space on your hard drive, but just keep note, if you keep using this box, it's going to keep growing. So usually you don't need too much space for these things, so I'm going to leave it at 1500. I guess I can't do a period. So 15 gig for now. And let's hit create. You see it pops in this bottom half right here. So now we're going to actually edit the machine settings by clicking on settings. And when we jump in here, we're going to jump over into system, and this is where we can change our memory settings. So you can drag this all the way up until, I would say, about the orange. You can still go into these areas, but see, it's going to give you a little bit of an error, and it's going to let you know that Windows 10 needs some resources to be able to run, and it needs to be able to run this program fluently, as well as giving your virtual machine enough resources to run as well. So you want to choose kind of a balance between the two. You know, you can stick this as high as you want, as long as it doesn't start slowing down Windows 10. So I usually do about half of what I have. I have 8 gigs, so I'm going to do 4 gig of RAM. You can turn off the floppy drive. These defaults should be fine. The processor area, if this is grayed out, this means that you don't have any processors to give, so it's going to be shared. But in this case, I have 4 logical cores that I can use for this. So we're going to do that. And let's go over to our display. If you have the availability of video memory, you want to max that out because Ubuntu is fairly graphical intensive. So we're going to do that. The rest of this should be good. In the storage section, we're going to hit this empty CD, click on this CD, and this is where we're going to load our CD that we downloaded for Ubuntu. So let's go to our downloads and hit 1804 desktop, open that. This SATA drive over here is where the actual install is going to. That's your actual hard drive. The audio should be checked already. Network is going to be tied in with your current network, and these other ones are just extras that you don't need. So hit OK. And as long as you don't have any errors or anything, then this should be good to boot up. So we're going to just start her up. Oh, there she is. It's hiding on me. If it is small, like mine is, that means you have a pretty decent sized screen or high pixel density. So you're going to go to View, Virtual Screen, and you can actually scale this up a little bigger so we can see it. And after this starts booting up a little bit, this might take a while. All right, we got sound. So it's going to pop up with this first screen right here. So you can actually try it out for a little bit, and it gives you a little environment to play in. It doesn't actually save anything. I think you can go online and stuff. But we're going to just jump into install. You can select your language over here. Yeah, so it changes everything on the fly. Install. Here you're going to choose your keyboard layout. Since I'm in the US and the US. Continue. So it depends on what you're using this for. If you're using this as a normal computer or just some other stuff, you want to just mess around and see how Ubuntu is, this is probably the way to go. You're going to get most of the install, like the Office, like Microsoft Office kind of software, most of the Windows versions of stuff that you'd normally use would be in this. The minimal install is if maybe you're using this specifically as a media environment or a programming environment, that kind of thing, this would probably be the way that you're going to want to go. You're going to want to download the updates to make sure that you're currently up to date. And this third-party software isn't necessary for VirtualBox, but if you're actually installing this on a real computer, then this would be what you'd have to click. So let's go continue. Since there's nothing on this hard drive, we're going to erase it and install Ubuntu. We're not going to deal with encryption or LLVM right now, so let's install now. And this is just warning you that partition table is going to be erased. Everything's going to be reformatted as ext4. And that's what we want. So let's continue. And you're going to choose your location in the World Wide Web for time zone. And then we're going to give our name here, tutor, VirtualBox, username, password. And we're going to require a password when you log in. Continue. And it should start loading everything. Awesome. So we'll jump back when this finishes. All right, so we made it to the end. Installation is complete, so we're going to hit restart now. So it should have done it for us already, but if it hasn't, you're going to go to Devices, Optical Drives, and hit Remove Disk from Virtual Drive. And if that's all set, then you're going to click back in and hit Enter, and it should reboot for us. There it goes. All right, so booted up. Let's log into our account. Type in our password and hit enter. There we go. All right, so we booted in. Now there's one thing that we can do still to add some additional functionality like drag and drop and being able to resize the window and scaling and all that fun stuff is the guest editions. So if we go to Devices, insert guest edition CD, should show up on the desktop and then pop up with a little prompt window for us like this. And you're going to hit run. Enter your password. And it should run through a script and install the guest editions. All right, so it's saying that we need to install a couple programs first before we can modify the kernel modules. So we're going to go up to File, New Tab, and we're going to install those. So we're going to say sudo apt install gcc make and perl. Enter your password. Let that run. If it asks to continue, say Y. This might take a little while, so just bear with it. All right, so now that we're done, we can exit out of that. And then we can click back in this window, hit enter. Remind me later. So then let's click back on the CD, and then we're going to run software. Hit run. And it should boot back up to the password screen, and then we're going to try to do this again, and it should build the kernel this time. Yeah, it's looking like it's working this time. So this might actually take a little while too, so just bear with it. All right, so after it's done building, it's going to say press return to close this window. We're not going to do that. We're going to go to File, New Tab, and we have to reboot the system first before any of this is going to take effect. So we're going to type in shutdown -R now, and this is going to reboot the system for us. So let's log in. All right, we are booted in, and let's see if, yep, so these options are not grayed out anymore, so that means that we actually have this installed properly. Awesome. So what we can do now is go back to view virtual screen. Let's drop this down to a more manageable size here, and we should be able to hit Alt F, and it should rescale to full screen. Awesome. So that's how you get it full screen. And hit Alt F again if you want to drop it out of full screen. You'll be able to drag this around and it should resize for you, which is pretty nice. There it goes. Awesome. So now that we have all that done, we can enable some more features. So let's shut this down. Power off. Let that thing close. So if we go to our settings now, and we go to this advanced tab, we should be able to bi-directional add, drag and drop, and clipboard. So with this enabled, let's start her back up. All right, so now if we start up our Office Writer, this is like Microsoft Office for Linux. And then we open up a notepad and we type in something like, hey, I wrote this sentence on Windows 10, exclamation point. And we copy that. We should be able to paste it right inside. Awesome. Hey, I wrote the sentence on Windows 10. And then we can do it the other way too. Hey, I wrote this sentence in Ubuntu 18. And then we copy that. We should be able to paste it right inside here. Sick. So now that we have that, we can save as to, I don't know, the desktop. So if we save that to the desktop and we show our desktop items, we should be able to drag and drop this file right onto the desktop in Ubuntu. There it is. And we should be able to rename and there it is. So you can drag from and to. So with that being said, I hope this was a big help for some of you guys, and stay tuned for some other videos.